Hi people. Today, as you can see, I have somebody special joining us, Shushi. Today, I'm going to talk about India's Oscar entry on documentary films, All That Breathes. I recently watched it. It was screened in one of the short film festivals in Bangalore. So I was super excited and even lucky to have seen this movie. All That Breathes is a very interesting documentary. I'll just give you a synopsis before I get into the review of it. It's basically about connection of humans with their nature around. And when I say nature, they're specifically looking at birds. And I think so it's very interesting that we have filmmakers who are finally talking about what have we done to our animals and birds in the city. Where have we pushed them? Is there a space for four-legged creatures? Now, if you look around even in your cities, the city where I come from, where I'm staying right now, there are hardly any animals or birds left. Maybe I see dogs, I see cats, I see cows, lamb maybe, and some birds, and half of the time I don't know anything about the birds. So definitely a lot of the birds, a lot of animals have really, disappeared, or they're still in their jungles and they're in the space. So this specific movie, All That Breathes, talks about that. And it does so by following the life of two brothers. So there are these two brothers from Wazirabad in Delhi who are passionate about saving kites. Now, kite is a breed of birds which is little smaller than eagle, and their only work basically is to eat the remains of all the dead animals. That's what they do. That's their actually, if you look at the hierarchy in the food chain, that is their work. And these two brothers are very passionate about saving them. So they are running their small, little clinic, and both of them go looking for injured birds, protect them, take them, and they have been really saving them. And that's how the whole story is about. But while talking about saving these birds who are dropping from the sky, these birds who are getting affected by the pollution, these birds who don't have things to eat anymore, they're also talking about what have we done to our cities. Why is that the cities have no space for birds? Why is that the city does not think about the other creatures? And why is that Delhi, even though it's completely engulfed in pollution, nobody is taking it seriously? So it's very beautiful that such an intense topic like climate change is shown from the eyes of birds. In this case, kite. It's a very difficult task to get your pet or any animal to be relaxed like Shushi is right now next to me. They don't trust us. They don't have any faith. Man is the most cruelest animal around, and they have destroyed everything possible. So getting any creature to trust you is very tough. So in this movie, these two brothers, they are looking around and really trying to help these kites. And if you look at these kites, these are just birds who eat dead bodies, who fly, who are majestic. There is a dialogue in the movie which says that, rest all birds have to make an effort. They have to move their wings. But kites are the only ones who swim in the sky. I think that the movie is beautiful. It looks like a urban poetry. It doesn't even feel like a cinema. It feels like poetry, the way it's, shot. Even though it's talking about such an intense topic like climate change, the broken city, how we are really destroying our city, it still tells from a story, from a perspective of kindness and interconnectedness between the two species. If you think about it, why should Shushi? How can Shushi and I connect? We don't speak anything. We don't speak each other's language. So only place is this boy trusting me and I somehow gaining their trust. So that's what the brothers were doing throughout the movie, and it's beautiful because what they're trying to do is really tough. In the beginning of the movie, there's a shot for 30 seconds, which is extremely disturbing for me, where they're just showing rats. Now, just to be clarifying this, I hate rats. It's one of the animals I can't stand. And so the whole screen was filled with these rats in the waste. They're doing whatever they do, and it's a shot like that of Delhi. And there is a part of cities that we don't see. There are these parts of cities that most of us ignore. So, if you look at Delhi, Delhi is a city within city. It's a huge city and it has all these small, small areas. So there are shots of pigs walking in the, drainage. There are shots of crane birds just being in the drainage. There are shots of horses, donkeys. There are all these shots in the movie. All these animals who are living in your city, who are occupying different parts of the city. And these birds, these kites. Before they used to all stay in a particular area. Now they are slowly moving, adapting with humans because they also have understood that cities is where they get the food. So in this movie, the brothers are actually buying a lot of meat just to be able to feed these birds because there is no food available. Animals always had a part in our history. In any part of history you see, animals have played a very important role, and dogs as creatures have been our best friends. Not just because he's Shushi sitting next to me, but they've had very important roles. So even kites in this movie, they talk about how, in a lot of religions, feeding kites, it's supposed to be service. You're supposed to take care of the birds. You're supposed to feed them. And there's a shot where the brothers are praying. I think so in the one of the cemeteries of their mothers. I think so they have gone to pray to their mother, and then there they spot different type of owl while they are praying. And I think so they got their love for this animals, saving animals from their mom, who was also equally passionate about saving, taking care of creatures around. And she got her passion from jinns, the magical creatures. You can take it any form. Take it magical realism, take it religion, take it science. Just animals being in harmony with each other, living in a constant kind of harmony is the only way to go about it. So there are shots where in the movie where one of the brother is really really tensed by what is happening. He's not taking, he's aware of what is the bigger political scenario that's happening around, but he's really worried about how is that nobody is noticing that the birds are dying. Nobody is noticing that the birds are falling from the sky. And that's where it shows the sensitivity of this one individual who has spent his life just saving these birds. Delhi, for that matter, is notorious for having huge garbage hills. So basically, these are garbages that are collected from different parts of the city and they just dumped. None of us really think where does the waste of your house go to? Somebody comes, picks it up, and they go somewhere. Nobody thinks about where is the waste of their city going. Somebody comes, picks it up from your house, and you forget about the waste. But the waste is traveling. And that's what this movie is talking about. There are people, there are animals, there are birds who are taking care of it. For the longest time, I've never liked crows. I think so they're annoying. They just caw. I mean, I find them very difficult. Unless or until I started thinking, and I've noticed that crows are very important for some of the rituals in some of the religions. People feed them. Crows literally clean up the cities. They are the ones who are eating the dead body. So is kite, cheel, the species. If they were not around, the half of the waste that is around in the city would have been doubled. Not even doubled, I would say 10 times. There's this Malayalam movie called Kumbalangi Nights where the main protagonists, they all stay in an area which is little away from the main city, which is the joke is that all the shit of the town is thrown in that area. And they keep saying, and there is a line in the movie which says that all your problems, all your dirt is thrown in my house. It's us who keeps you clean. It's us who keeps you letting go with your life. So same, if kites were not around, if dogs were not around, if all these pigs were not around, we would have been living in filth. And this movie shows that. It shows the dirt. It shows the filth. It shows the unbeautiful part of the city, which is also city, which is actually equally important. I really love the fact that how it just, slowly spans into the eyes of the birds, eyes of other species. There are shots of one of the brothers just looking, staring into the eyes, connecting, silently communicating, in a community with other species. Most of us, if only we spend some time connecting with other species, I think so we'll be a lot more better people. We'll be a lot more kinder. We have destroyed our cities. We have made everything about ourselves. I mean, we have left nothing for others. We don't have to say big things like climate change, carbon dioxide, carbon footprint. We have to all start using plastic. We really have to see how much are we consuming. I loved how these brothers, in their own small little way, they were so passionate about just one thing, saving birds. And I think so that is what is needed. I really appreciate the film director Shaunak Sen for doing this. So while researching about this movie, we read how he had done around 4,000 hours of shooting. Now that's dedication, man. For a movie, he took 3 years to make this movie. Extremely proud of the fact that a movie like this has reached the Oscars, and we wish you luck. Not because it's from India, but because for such a beautiful storytelling. There's a scene where he says that sometimes I just lie on the ground and I look up at the sky and I feel like I might die and my chest will open and loads of cheese will come out of it. I think it's such a beautiful imagery, sometimes to think of your cities in terms of animals and birds. If I ask you, if you had to paint your city through a bird's eye or through an animal's eye, how would your city look like? If I had to ask you, what is your sound? What is the sound of your city? Other than traffic, can you say anything? Do you remember the sound of a bird? Do you remember the sound of a animal? That's what is this movie is talking about. All that breathes, everything that breathes around you is part of you. So Shaunak Sen, best of luck for the movie. Thank you so much for such a beautiful tribute to Delhi, a beautiful tribute to other species, and just making a point of how we really need to connect to other species. And from Shushi, from me, from Kiran, best of luck at the Oscars, and we really hope so that you get appreciated for your work. Bye.